Sometimes it's hard to tell if we're actually growing. Like you're doing the inner work, you're being more intentional, but it still feels like nothing's changing. And that's because growth isn't always glamorous. Sometimes it feels like distance, silence, and starting over. But in those quiet moments, that's when you're actually becoming her. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to have you guys here for another video. For those of you that don't know, my name is Taji and I created this community for women like us that are striving to grow in self-love and move towards our highest selves. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in or the journey that you find yourself on, go ahead and hit subscribe because there is always room and a seat at the table over here. I am so excited about the topic today, so without further ado, let's jump right on into it. Do you ever look around and feel like nothing's changing, but you know that you are not the same person that you were 6 months ago? I think that so many of us are in that in-between stage, like we're not quite where we're going, but we know that we're not who we used to be. And it can feel really uncomfortable. That's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about the signs that you're growing, even when it feels like nothing's changing at all. Sign number one is that you are finding peace in being alone. One of the biggest signs that you're growing is when being alone no longer feels lonely, it actually starts feeling peaceful. You don't have to be around somebody all the time or be constantly talking on the phone. And it's not that you're becoming antisocial or you don't enjoy being around people. It's just that your energy means more now. And you're learning that not everyone is deserving of that energy and not everywhere is deserving of that energy. You're becoming more intentional with yourself in the rooms that you choose to be in and the people that you choose to share yourself with. You're choosing to be more present with yourself, and that right there, that's the growth. I remember when I couldn't stand being alone with my own thoughts, and now I actually crave that time. I actually crave being alone with myself because that's the time when I get to refocus, reset, and honestly, that's when I tend to hear God the most, when it's quiet and peaceful around me. And that actually leads me into my next sign of growth, which is big for me, and that is you are learning to trust your own intuition instead of always looking for outside opinions. As you grow and build more confidence in yourself, you start realizing that yes, while advice is helpful, only you really know what feels right for you. You stop moving from a place of fear of being wrong because essentially that's why we don't trust our own opinions. We're scared that we are wrong or that we'll mess something up, and we start moving from a place of self-trust. Before I started on my growth journey, I would second guess everything. I could be so confident about something 1 minute and 5 minutes later, I'd be on the phone calling up 3 different people like, what do you think I should do? And if I didn't like that answer, I'd be like, okay, girl, let me call you back. And I would hang up, call somebody else, and I would do that until I got the answer that I wanted to hear. Like, girl, just make the decision for yourself. But that was really just a lack of self-trust. Every time that I looked for someone else to validate my choices, I was telling myself that my judgment was not enough. But now I've learned that my peace comes from doing what feels right to me, even if nobody else understands it. Sign number 3 is that you are becoming more accepting of your flaws. I think another big sign of growth is when you stop running from your flaws and just start seeing them for what they are, which are parts of you that need understanding and not judgment. Before, maybe you felt like you had to be perfect to feel worthy, perfect skin, perfect attitude, perfect choices, but now you're learning to give yourself grace and understanding that you're just human, and that means that you're still learning and you're still unlearning, and that's okay. You start learning that your strengths don't disappear just because you have weaknesses. Both can exist at the same time. You can be confident and still have things to work on, and you can be soft and still be figuring things out. And that mindset shift alone changes everything Because instead of constantly nitpicking at yourself and trying to fix things about yourself, you're actually learning to sit with yourself and get to know yourself better. Sign number 4 is you're choosing progress over perfection. I think for a lot of us on our growth journey, perfection used to mean control. Like, if I can just do everything just right, people will notice me. They'll validate me. They'll clap for me. They'll tell me I'm doing such a good job. But the truth is that striving for perfection usually is just you chasing outside validation. You want someone to tell you that you're doing a good job instead of believing it for yourself. So when you can't deliver or you mess up, you feel like a failure rather than understanding that you are human and you're not always going to get everything right. You're not always going to do everything perfectly. A big part of growth is realizing that perfection is not realistic. And once you reach that point and stop striving for it, it's not that you stopped caring, it's just that you understand that progress feels so much better. Like for me, I see it the most when I go to the gym. There are some days where I have to literally drag myself there. Full negotiation mode in my head, and the old me would have been like, well, if you can't do a full workout, then you might as well not go. But now, if I show up, stretch, and touch 2 machines, I'm proud of myself. That's progress, because that's what growth looks like. It's not about doing everything perfectly. It's more so about showing up differently, just being 1% better every day. You're being more gentle with yourself. You're choosing consistency over control. That's how you know that you're growing. Sign number 5 is you start finding beauty in the ordinary. Now, when this started happening to me, I knew that I was growing. I knew that I was becoming a new Taji because this was so not like me before. And what I mean by that is you stop needing big milestones or huge events to feel fulfilled. You start looking at the small things around you and you feel rich. Like the slow mornings, making breakfast with my kids, when my son put way too much flour in the pancake mix and my daughter's getting eggshells everywhere. Or we're just sitting there laughing at the most random things. Even when I'm doing my skincare, taking a bubble bath, folding laundry, all of those things used to feel like nothing or just small moments. Now they make me feel so good. I look around and I just say, thank you, God. I am so rich. Like, it's so indescribable, but that is a big sign that you're growing. And that's when life starts to feel full. Not because you have everything, but because you're noticing all the things that you do have. When you start seeing everyday life through that lens, that's how you know that you're growing. And I think that when you start finding beauty in the more simple things, you start naturally showing up as your authentic self, which is my next sign, sign number 6, because you're no longer performing or chasing what everybody else is doing. You're just simply being. There is something so powerful about that shift. You stop overthinking about how you look, how you sound, or how people will perceive you, and you just start realizing that being you is simply enough. And then you stop trying to fit into certain boxes and you start flowing into your own rhythm and in your own lane. When you start embracing your true self, you make room for the people and the opportunities and the peace that are meant for you. So when you feel more in touch with your true authentic self, that is a big sign that you're growing. Sign number 6, and the last sign that we are going to go over in this video, is you start prioritizing self-care. When you realize that doing skincare, dressing up, doing your hair, those things aren't in vain. They are you telling yourself that I care about me. They are a reflection of how you feel on the inside. But you also learn that real self-care goes deeper than that. It's the boundaries that you set. It's learning to rest when you need it. It's journaling your thoughts, praying, forgiving yourself, learning to let things go that no longer serve you. And when you begin nurturing both the inside and the outside, that's when you become more aligned and you start showing up differently. You become more soft. You give yourself the capacity and the space to love yourself more fully. And that's when you know that you're not just surviving anymore, but you are becoming her. If you made it this far, I hope that this reminded you that growth is not always glamorous. Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's uncomfortable, but it's always worth it. And every version of you has led to this one, so she deserves to be loved, seen, and cared for. Keep loving on yourself and growing in the most soft, confident, and consistent ways. And if you're on your own becoming her journey too, let me know in the comments which sign of growth have you seen in yourself. And don't forget to like and subscribe so that you don't miss the next video. I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.